Okej, snälla, slå inte mig nu. Lyssna på mig. Aj! Det är inte jag som har mördat din man.
Vad fan kom du hit?
A car pulls into the lot and several men step out. One is ordered to stay behind and guard the goods while the others head inside for the deal. The delivery side drops just a kilo of product, and the buyer demands to know where the rest is. He's told he'll get it after payment clears. Meanwhile, the police are watching the whole exchange, and as soon as they confirm their target, they storm in and open fire. But before the raid, the buyer has already hit send on his laptop, transferring the money as planned, when suddenly both sides are trading bullets with the cops. Outside, the man left to watch over the goods keeps an eye on things until a hooded figure ambushes him, snatching the bag of product from one car to another. That's when he notices Luca recording the whole thing. Luca quickly tucks away his phone and jumps into the car, driving off with the assailant chasing him. Earlier that day, Connie is absorbed in a flight simulator game when his daughter, Julia, interrupts. He immediately sets the game aside as she has school, but Julia insists they stop at her stepdad's place first to grab her gym clothes. Her birthday is coming up soon, and she'd like a horse, a gift far beyond Connie's budget. When they arrive at Thomas's house, Connie's ex-wife answers the door and asks if she can pick Julia up earlier than planned so they can visit a horse farm. Caught off guard, Connie refuses, standing his ground even when Thomas steps in to pressure him. At work later, Connie tells his supervisor he's willing to take on more jobs so he can afford Julia's riding lessons. But the supervisor doubts his motives, suspecting Connie might be feeding a gambling habit instead. Connie works as a salesman at an electronics store, and as he's leaving his shift, he runs into a striking customer who mistakes him for another shopper. "What kind of nitwit works in this place?" she scoffs, not realizing he does. Connie still helps her pick out the best headphones, but when his boss returns with news that he can indeed take on extra hours, the woman finally realizes the truth and quickly hurries off, embarrassed. Jorge tells him he'll need to install a television at a customer's house. Connie arrives to handle the installation, and as he gets started, the woman excuses herself in a hurry, leaving him alone in the house. He slips on his noise-canceling headphones and focuses on the job. Not long after, Luca enters, calling out for his wife. What follows is a violent struggle between him and the intruder, unfolding just behind Connie, who remains oblivious. When the salesman finally pulls off his headphones, he's met with the sight of Luca bleeding on the floor, begging for his phone. Disoriented, Connie scans the room for whoever did this, clutching a screwdriver he picks from the crime scene. Before he can make sense of it, the attacker comes at him from behind, knocking him unconscious beside Luca. When Connie stirs, the screwdriver is still in his hand, and the woman has returned to the gruesome scene. Police take him into custody and shove him into an interview room. The first people he meets are Diana, the customer he helped pick headphones for, joined by Helena and Jorma. Helena is heading the investigation. They let Connie give his account, but they're interrupted when Hasse, the lawyer assigned to Connie, arrives. He doesn't seem very competent. "You're innocent, right?" Hasse asks. Connie nods, and the lawyer says it doesn't matter as he handles the case the same way either way. The officers watch from behind the glass as Diana notes that Connie doesn't strike her as dangerous. She recalls their brief encounter, but Jorma cuts in with his own theory that Connie tried to steal something while the woman was out, and when the husband came home and caught him, he killed him. Connie, still convinced the truth will clear him, expects to go home soon. Instead, at court, he's tried, found guilty, and sentenced to 18 years in prison. During cafeteria time, Connie sits at a table with one inmate who seems harmless enough. A bulkier man joins them and quickly picks a fight when the first inmate denies him something. Nobody steps in, and everyone just watches. In the chaos, Connie gets stabbed with a fork. Eventually, another prisoner drags the aggressor off, but when the officers rush in demanding to know who started it, no one says a word. Connie is left with the fork still stuck in his hand, unsure what to do about it. Connie's ex-wife brings Julia for a visit, and he lights up the moment he sees his daughter. He leans in, telling her he hasn't done anything wrong and that his lawyer is already working on an appeal, so he'll be out soon. Julia asks if that's really true, and he assures her it is. Later, back in his cell, he takes out the family photo her mother handed him and quietly tears Thomas's face from the picture, leaving only Julia and her mother. Then he pins it on the wall where he can always see it. Connie is put on laundry duty, staying put while the officer steps out to handle a report. That's when Musa barges in with Norendar right behind him. Their conversation spills out, and Connie, who is hidden, realizes they're arguing about an escape plan. Musa has ruined it by attacking Sam, the same man he fought in the cafeteria. As it turns out, Sam was their key to getting out, as he's the only one who can pilot the way once they're through the tunnel. But instead of keeping him on side, Musa lashed out after discovering Sam had been sneaking through the passage just to meet a woman. Now the escape is set for 3 days' time, and their pilot lies useless in the infirmary because of Musa's temper. Connie receives a visit from his lawyer, who delivers the crushing news that the appeal wasn't approved. "Life can be unfair as hell sometimes," Hasse says, while his client sits in disbelief. Connie insists there was another man in the house, the one who really killed Luca, and reminds him that Luca had been asking for his phone before he died. The phone has never turned up. Hasi admits that if it surfaces, they could try again, but the police already combed the scene, and he isn't willing to do more than he has. He urges Connie to keep his head down as time will pass quicker than he thinks, and even tries to cheer him up by pointing out his new laundry job. That's when Connie's eyes flicker with an idea, and he ends the meeting abruptly. Back in the cell block, he tries to slip into the laundry room, only for a guard to stop him and remind him the first shift doesn't start until 1. The room is empty until then. When the officer steps away, Connie sneaks inside and discovers the tunnel the inmates had been whispering about. It leads straight to an abandoned subway line where a train nearly takes him out. Shaken, he finds a stash of clothes left behind and a phone, changes quickly, and follows the path until he emerges into daylight. Free again, Connie makes his way to Luca's house and forces his way through a window. He hides in the bedroom closet just as Mimi and the others return from the funeral. When she steps inside to hang her coat, she catches him and starts to attack him. He manages to get out that he only came to uncover who really killed her husband. Meanwhile, Diana keeps digging into the supposedly closed case. Her research turns up that Luca had been working near the site of a recent drug raid, a detail that catches Helena's attention. Back at the house, Connie presses Mimi about the missing phone. He argues Luca was silenced because of whatever was on it and tells her to reach out if she finds it. Their tense exchange is interrupted when an elderly woman spots him, but Mimi covers quickly and lies for him. By the time she turns back, Connie has vanished, leaving his number plastered on the window. She crumples the paper without hesitation and tosses it away. Connie hurries back, changes clothes, but keeps the phone. When he comes out into the laundry room, Musa spots him and is furious. Connie hides inside a washing machine, trying to keep his distance while explaining himself, but Musa wants to kill him for discovering the tunnel. He switches the machine on and water begins to fill when an officer calls Musa to his therapy session. Norindar confronts him outside, wanting to make sure Musa isn't up to anything since they're supposed to keep a low profile. Musa then notices the picture Connie pinned up and realizes it points to the new guy's room. He goes back, pulls Connie out before he drowns, and asks if the pilot with his head missing in the picture is him. "Well, I'm afraid so," Connie replies. Later, out in the prison yard, Norindar and Musa keep their distance, Norindar still doubtful that Connie is really a pilot, while Musa wants to believe he is. They decide to confront Connie with their plan to escape through the tunnel and fly to their final destination in a private plane arranged by someone on the outside. The grand escape is set for Thursday. Meanwhile, while searching her bedroom, Mimi finds Luca's phone hidden on top of the overhead light. She puts it to charge, since the battery is dead. A knock at the door pulls her away, and she finds Helena hoping for a quick chat. Helena sits with her back to the television, unaware that Luca's phone has powered on and is casting its gallery to the screen. Mimi notices an incriminating video showing the hooded assailant, Helen herself, unmasked after dragging off a bag of drugs. Luckily, the next image appears before Helena can turn around and notice what has Mimi so distracted. Helena then asks about Luca's phone, even though she had earlier mentioned the case was closed, leaving Mimi confused. Cornered, Helena gives a veiled response, and once she leaves the house, she instructs Jorma to wire Mimi's phone. Mimi reaches out to Connie, saying she knows everything and naming Helena as the real culprit behind her husband's murder. She explains she's heading somewhere safer and doesn't know what to do with the phone. Connie offers to take it, and she urgently tells him where to meet her. He heads toward the tunnel, but Musi and Norindar intercept him. The escape has been moved up as they've secured an earlier slot at the airport and need to act immediately. They trigger an alarm to create a distraction, giving them cover to slip through the tunnel. The phone Connie kept turns out to be Mus's, but Connie stays silent about it. A van is waiting, and he's ordered to drive while the other two arm themselves with guns. They head toward Arlanda, where Camilla, Norindar's girlfriend, is waiting. At the same time, Jorma reports to Helena that Mimi made a phone call. Helena rushes to check the recording and hears they've arranged to meet outside the Galerian. On the road, Connie spots Mimi waiting with the phone and suddenly veers off course, drawing suspicion from Musa and Norindar. Norindar demands to know what he's doing, but Connie rams the van into a stationary bus, sparking chaos. The fugitives clash with passengers, pull out guns, knock down phones, and are ready to turn violent if needed. In the chaos, Connie slips away to meet Mimi, while Helena speeds through traffic to catch up. Mimi gives him the phone, and as he starts to walk away, Helena arrives, identifying herself as police in an attempt to corner him. Still, Mimi manages to slip away, and Connie does too, yanked back into the van by Musa just as Helena tries to shoot. Connie texts Hassa to meet him at Arlanda, but Musa notices the phone in his hand and demands it. Instead, Connie tosses it out the window, drawing Musa's attention to the police trailing behind them. Convinced Connie must have been texting the cops, Musa fires his gun, only to direct the shot outside the window, clipping Helena's tire. While Norindar scolds him for being reckless, Helena calls for backup, reporting that Connie has escaped from prison and is on the run. They arrive at their destination, where Camilla waits with bags of cash. Everyone boards the plane and Connie settles into the cockpit, fumbling with the controls. Musa eyes him and asks, "You know what you're doing?" Connie clearly looks lost but insists that he does. Musa shrugs and goes to his seat while Connie pulls the lever. Radio warnings crackle through the speakers and he panics, deciding to escape through the cockpit window instead. Norröndar immediately goes after him. The airport is swarming with police scanning the area, while Connie paces anxiously. He spots Hasse and tries to shout out what he's discovered, but the demarcation drowns his voice and Hasse can't make out the words. Suddenly, Norröndar corners Connie with a gun, but a police bullet knocks the weapon to the ground and forces Norröndar onto his stomach. Seizing the chance, Connie bolts, with officers chasing close behind. Connie is heading down the escalator when he spots Musi holding Thomas at gunpoint, desperate for a real pilot. Grabbing a bottle, Connie leaps to their side and tries knocking Musa out. When that fails, he goes for the throat instead, then shoves the gun into Thomas's hands, snapping that Thomas shouldn't have gotten Julia a horse. The chase continues, but at the exit, Helena shoots Connie and snatches the phone before anyone else notices. Diana rushes to his side, and as he slips into unconsciousness, he manages to whisper about the phone. Meanwhile, Camilla is taken into custody while Musa bolts, slipping away before officers can catch him. Later, Diana brings her theories to her superiors, arguing that Connie doesn't fit as the killer. She points out Luca must have taken the bulk of the drugs, since the raid only turned up 1 kilo out of the 30 paid for. She also recalls Connie mentioning a phone, yet none was found on him, and questions why his lawyer was waiting at the airport. Still, Helena and the other man shut her down, denying her request to interview Connie, who has just come out of surgery. Helena destroys the phone, then drives straight to the hospital with one last task in mind, finishing off Connie. Meanwhile, Connie learns the phone is missing. When his daughter and ex-wife visit, he forces a smile, but admits with regret that he might be gone far longer than he promised. Outside his room, Helena distracts the officer on duty and slips inside. Pulling on gloves, she calmly prepares the poison meant for his IV. Connie is barely conscious when she says, almost with pity, "You happen to be the wrong person in the wrong place at the wrong time." She already has the needle slipped into his cannula port when she hears Diana's muffled voice, forcing her to duck into the bathroom. Diana steps inside with a few questions, but Connie is too incoherent to answer. She sighs, deciding she'll have to come back another day. As she turns to leave, Connie knocks over the IV stand. She moves to steady it, then freezes, her eyes locking on the syringe left in place, the label reading sodium cyanide. Her hand instinctively goes to her gun and she edges toward the bathroom door. The silence stretches, but Helena can't stay hidden. She steps out, and the two women collide in a violent struggle. Helena manages to wrest control, pinning Diana to the wall just as the officer outside laughs at a video on a staffer's phone, oblivious to the fight raging only a few feet away. In the struggle, they crash close enough for Connie to slip Helena's keys from her pocket and free himself, but Helena quickly regains control, seizing both her own gun and Diana's. Without hesitation, she shoots herself in the shoulder, already weaving the story she'll tell. Self-defense against a violent colleague. The gunshot draws the officer inside. He enters with his weapon raised, but before he can sort out who's the victim, Helena puts a bullet in his head. She turns the barrel toward Diana, intent on sealing the narrative with another justified kill. Before she can pull the trigger, Connie lashes out with whatever's within reach, staggering her. Diana seizes the moment, grabs Connie, and together they crash through the window, tumbling into the night as Helena reels inside. Patched up, Helena convinces Joseph that Diana is the mastermind. Over the radio, an alert goes out ordering all units to look out for both Diana and Connie. When the fugitives spot police ahead, they swerve off the road and disappear into the woods. Diana tries calling Joseph to plead her case, but when it's clear he won't listen, she hurls the phone away in frustration. Connie figures out a spot to spend the night, calling it a safe house. It turns out to be the electronics store, empty at that hour. Inside, they see they've already made the headlines, meaning the public can now identify them. Elsewhere, Musa sits in a bar watching the same report. By morning, the unit has plenty of information, but still no real progress, and Helena grows restless. A sudden text draws her away from the station in a hurry. Back at the store, Connie tries to change his look by shaving off his eyebrows and slipping into his boss's suit, but as soon as they hear the man arriving early, they're forced to move. They head to Mimi's place because Connie has an idea. The television he installed has a built-in hard drive that stores anything streamed. Just as he hoped, the video is still there, but with no phone between them, there's nothing to copy it onto. Left with no choice, they carry the screen with them in search of Hasse, only to discover he's been siding with Helena all along. That's when Connie realizes why his appeal was dismissed so easily. They spot the lawyer carrying bags, and Diana guesses they're moving the drugs. To be sure, they'll need to get closer. Connie is still piecing together Helena and Hasse's partnership, so Diana lays it out. Hasse feeds her intel on his criminal clients, and Helena uses police raids as cover to steal the product and resell it for their own profit. To move in, they swipe a key card, and Connie slips inside while Diana keeps watch. He edges close enough to witness a deal in progress with major kingpins. Afterward, the two of them lug the television screen to the front desk where they place a call, deliberately putting the police back on their trail. Joseph tries reaching Helena about the raid, while Moosey forces a cop to tag along at gunpoint. Inside the meeting, Helena excuses herself when she finally answers Joseph's call. Hearing that police are closing in on the fugitives, she panics, mutters that she'll join them, and quickly hangs up. Moments later, she abandons the meeting entirely to deal with the crisis. Outside, Helena meets the arriving officers and steers them off course, but Joseph shows up last and Diana seizes the chance to bring him the TV. As the elevator opens, Musa steps out and blasts the screen straight from their hands, shattering it over the railings. Furious that Connie cost him his stolen money, he doesn't hold back. Helena's misdirection collapses once the officers spot their targets. Connie tries to calm things down, but the tension breaks when the police push Musa into opening fire. At the same time, Hasse finishes his deal upstairs and heads down, unaware of the chaos below. With the TV destroyed and their plan in ruins, Connie bolts after Hasse, triggering a chase. Meanwhile, Diana is restrained, and Joseph once again refuses to believe her pleas of innocence. Connie finally catches Hasse and drives him to the ground, but the moment Hasse pulls a gun, Connie freezes and backs off. Smirking, Hasse scoops up the bag of cash and says, "You lost, Connie." Before he can gloat further, officers burst in and drag him away as he thrashes and shouts in protest. In the scuffle, the bag is left behind. Connie scoops it up and stalks off, only to hear Musa calling out. Without hesitation, he tosses it to him, keeping his promise to return the stolen money. Meanwhile, Diana fights against the officers, spitting threats to expose Helena and insisting she has proof of everything. Helena responds by calmly driving a taser into her until she goes limp, the display sharp enough to draw Joseph's suspicion. None of them notice Connie in the shadows, quietly reclaiming the battered TV screen before slipping away. With the stolen card still in hand, he slips into a room and, with the help of a staff member, connects the TV hard drive to the elevator's electronic screen. Joseph already had his doubts, but seeing the incriminating video himself makes him snap the cuffs on Helena's wrists. Connie managed to play the footage just before the police could intervene. As Helena is taken away, a report over the radio confirms she is now the prime suspect and has been neutralized. The drug kingpins, the lawyer, and Helena are all taken into custody. Joseph finally admits to Diana that he should have listened to her. Connie visits his daughter while he's riding a horse he clearly has no control over. He ends up jumping off, but not before startling the other kids. When he tells Julia he just borrowed the horse, she smiles, hugs him, and runs back to her friend. Diana joins him under the shade, and for a moment they nearly kiss until two furious parents march over and scold Connie for his reckless riding. Once they storm off, Connie and Diana can't help but tease each other about it. And that is how it ended. It's a wrap for this one. Keep watching for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.